Hello friends, students. Now today we are going to start with new lecture series which is based on SPPU syllabus and it is for mechanical engineering students. The subject that we are going to deal with will be solid mechanics. Now this is the syllabus for unit 1. So in unit 1 syllabus there is simple stress and strain. Then there are certain basic concepts like Hooke's law, Poisson's ratio, modulus of elasticity, modulus of rigidity, bulk modulus, interrelationship between elastic constants. The next topic will be stress strain diagram. It will be there for ductile as well as for brittle material. Now this topic will be useful for your experiments as well. And then we have to deal with factor of safety, stress strain in determinate and indeterminate beam. Most of the time the problem in the paper will be based on this topic. Final year paper or the end sem exam, you will surely find these numericals. Okay, now next topic will be thermal stresses, and then there will be a strain energy. Now this strain energy topic was previously there in the 6th unit. Now it has been brought to first unit. Okay, so this is the additional changes which has been made in the syllabus for the unit 1. And further, in thermal stresses no composite problems will be there. There will not be a combination bars, there will not be series bars, there will not be a parallel bars. So those topics has been excluded from the thermal stresses point of view. Now the next PPT will be based on mechanics. So you already aware about what is mechanics. We will just try to understand different verticals under this mechanics. Now the first vertical will be your mechanics of fluid. This mechanics of fluid will be dealt in fluid mechanics, and it is further divided into two types. One is mechanics of compressible fluid and mechanics of incompressible fluid. So this part will be there in second year only, but it will be covered under the some different subject that will be fluid mechanics. Now if you try to talk about this first portion is already covered in first year. So you already deal with what is statics, what is dynamics. So if you would like to revise them, please let me know, or please comment in the comment box, so that I will get to know about it. I will revise these things again with some different new lecture series. Now what is solid mechanics? Solid mechanics basically deal with deformable bodies. This is the most important thing, and this will differentiate solid mechanics from engineering mechanics. Now solid mechanics can further be divided into theory of elasticity and theory of plasticity. If we try to take an example of any component, let's assume it is a rubber. If I try to apply that tensile load on it for a particular extent, if I try to apply the load and if I release it, what will happen? It will regain its original shape and size. If I try to extend it further, what will happen? It will not be able to regain its original shape and size. There will be a permanent plastic deformation in that case. Whenever there is a permanent plastic deformation, see, for a particular amount of load, it will regain its original shape and size. So it will be under theory of elasticity. If it is not able to regain its original shape and size, so it means there will be a permanent deformation. And if there is permanent deformation, that will be a part of theory of plasticity. In solid mechanics, we will deal with this much of portion only. So theory of elasticity we have to talk about. So we may say that theory of material should be elastic. That will be the one of the assumptions for solid mechanics. Now we already discussed what is solid mechanics. Solid mechanics will most of the time deal with deformable bodies under different type of loading. Now you already aware about what are different type of loading. You may say that a point load will be your type of loading, or concentrated load, or UDL. This will be the type you are already aware of. But this type of loading is included in your syllabus, or it is included in your curriculum. So we have to deal with it, in detail. Whereas, your curriculum is also based on different kind of loadings, and depending on that we just have to calculate different type of stresses. So this is all about solid mechanics, what it is and what are the types that we have to deal with. Now the next type will be your, or next thing is, what is the difference between engineering mechanics and solid mechanics. So if we are trying to talk about engineering mechanics, we have to keep a thing in mind that we are dealing with rigid bodies only. If we try to take an example of truss structure, we always used to talk about, tensile force and compressive force which is acting on that truss structure. We never tried to talk about if the stress is exceeding too much, or if the force is exceeding too much on the truss structure, what will happen with the truss structure. That we never talked about. That portion, was not included in engineering mechanics. So the force which we are applying on the truss structure was within the range. If the force is exceeding the range, what will happen? The truss will start deforming, and that deformation, if we need to calculate, we must talk about solid mechanics approach. So solid mechanics deals with deformable bodies. Now here we have to deal with stresses. So stress will be an internal entity. So that's why this internal word is coming under solid mechanics. It is not included under, engineering mechanics. So this is the basic difference between engineering mechanics and solid mechanics. Now next thing is your assumptions in solid mechanics. See, whenever we are starting with this solid mechanics topic, we must be aware about certain basic assumptions which has been made or which will be applicable to each and every chapter. Now the first thing will be a continuous. Okay, so the material should be continuous enough, or the component should be continuous enough. There should not be any, notch like structure. There should not be, see, this is the rod, and if we are trying to apply the tensile force on it, if the rod is having, certain up and downs on it, we will not be able to apply our theories from solid mechanics on this rod. So this is our first assumption, that the rod should be continuous enough, means the cross section area should be uniform throughout. The second thing is isotropic material. It means the property, or the the stress should be uniform in every direction, or the properties of the material should be uniform in every direction, means along all the direction your properties should be uniform. Whereas opposite to this, or contrary to this, there will be a orthotropic system and there will be anisotropic system. So in orthotropic, what will happen? The properties will be different along the right angles, means along x direction properties will be different, whereas in y direction the properties will be different as compared to your x direction, and in z direction the properties will be different as compared to x and y direction. So in anisotropic, what will happen? The properties will be different in different direction. So whenever we are trying to deal with the problem of solid mechanics, the self weight of that component will always be neglected. We will never try to take self weight into account. We will always try to deal with the external forces which are applied on the component. This superposition principle you are already aware of, so there is no need to talk about it. So this is also valid in this case. The next thing is type of load, because we have to deal with it, we must be aware about what are the different type of loads. Now type of load, it is based on with respect to time, means depending on the time, with the change of time, if the load is changing, so these types are getting defined. One is static, second one is dynamic. Static means static is further divided into dead load and gradually applied load. Let's say load is constant throughout the working cycle. Load is constant. Let's assume that the load is P and it is constant throughout the working time. So it will be a dead load condition. Okay, now initially the load is increasing, and after particular interval of time, if load is remaining constant, it will also be a case of static, and it is called as gradually applied load. The best example for this is, if you try to go through, car manual, you will get to know that there is some dead weight which has been mentioned for a particular car. So dead weight will be its own weight. Okay, now what about gradually applied load? If the passengers are sitting in this car, if they started sitting, what will happen? The load will start increasing, the load will increase gradually, and after some amount of time, after some time, what will happen? The load will remain constant. So this example, passenger sitting in the car, will be a example of gradually applied load. Now if we try to deal with dynamic loading, dynamic loading can be further divided into two types. One will be impact, and second one will be fatigue. Now this fatigue is very important. If we are loading a component or a machine element and then we are unloading it, and if we are repeating this process again and again, so this kind of loading is called as fatigue loading. Whereas what about impact loading? For a very short duration of time, if we are applying a tremendous amount of load, that will be the example of impact loading. Okay, so this is with respect to time. This load can be divided into these these two types, and further it is divided into following things. Now if we are trying to deal with it with respect to direction of load, direction of load means, let's say, with respect to cross section area, if we are trying to calculate the load, it is further divided into normal load and shear load. Normal load means the direction of the load will be perpendicular to the assumed cross section area, or whichever cross section area we are taking into account. Let's say there is a bar like structure. Now for a bar, if we are taking this cross section area into account, for this cross section area, if the load is perpendicular to it, we will call it as normal load. For this rod, if we take this cross section area into account, same cross section area into account, and if the load is applied in the transverse direction, or if the load is applied into parallel direction, what will happen? It will be called as shear load. Okay, so now this normal load can further be divided into axial load or eccentric load. Axial means it will be along the same longitudinal axis or same axial direction. If it is following the same axial direction, then it will be called as axial load. If the load is parallel to the axial direction and it is not along the axial along the longitudinal axis, that time it will be called as eccentric axial loading. Similarly, there will be two types in the shear load as well. Either there will be a transverse shear load or there will be a eccentric shear load. If we try to divide this load with respect to area over which it is acting, they can be divided into concentrated load or distributed load. Now if we try to take an example of a cantilever, I think you are already aware about what is cantilever. So in 2D, the cantilever will be represented by this kind of figure, something like this. Now in this cantilever, if I have to apply the concentrated load, that concentrated load will be at a single position. So either it will be a point load as shown, okay, or otherwise there will be a moment. Okay, so at a single point, let's say at this point A, if I am applying a point load, this will be a point load. And what about distributed load? The load will be distributed throughout the length, or it will be distributed throughout the given length. Let's say from A to B on this cantilever, the load is distributed uniformly. Means, let's say from A to B, the load is distributed 5 kilonewton is getting distributed for a length of A to B. So this kind of loads are called as distributed load, and it is getting further divided into uniformly distributed load, uniformly varying load, and uniformly distributed moment. So whenever we will deal with it, we will discuss it in detail. Okay, so I think we will stop our first lecture. Tomorrow we will start with the second lecture. Second lecture will be uploaded and we will continue with it. And as soon as this theory portion will be over, we will start with